Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is MockALove. I know it's been a very hot minute since you got a video from me, and I do apologize, but I also apologize for the video, so I understand if you don't care anymore. Anyways, today we have a car that's so trivial and so common and so regular that you probably won't even care to continue watching this video. But if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's take a look at the everyday hero, the 2011 Honda Accord EXL. Let's go. Now, under the hood of this fine taxi machinery, you will find either this legendary K24 Z3 engine inline-4 2.4 liter displacement, 190 horsepower, or they also came with a V6 that pushed out over 250 horsepower. However, I think for this car, for what this car is and the purposes of this car, I think the inline-4, this bulletproof, reliable, legendary engine, the kind of engine that you will pass down to your children and your grandchildren, the kind of engine that will outlive half of this world's population currently living on Earth. These are the kind of engines I think that you want to get in these Honda Accords because of the fuel consumption. They're not as smooth as the V6, of course, and they're not as fast. They're not fast cars whatsoever. However, I think for commuting and for what the car is and what the car is best used for and usually is purchased for, I think the inline-4 K24 is the engine to go with. In the interior of the Honda Accord, everything is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's very simple to use. Everything is laid out very logically. Everything is accessible. You can get into this car and just drive off. You don't have to worry about, getting used to the location of the climate control dials, or you don't have to use to any volume buttons or any touch screens like in a lot of modern cars. This is the exact opposite of what the modern cars are doing today. Everything is big, everything is easy to use, easy to access. You don't have to take your eyes off the road. You can feel these giant toggles for climate control. All these big buttons are just regular buttons, one button for each function. The radio buttons are huge. There's a volume knob, there's a tuning knob. Everything is very logically laid out, and I love how simple this car is actually to use and to drive, as opposed to what the modern cars do with just overcomplicating stuff and making it very not user-friendly. As you can already tell, this is the most senile way to spec a Honda Accord. It's a white over tan leather, and before you interrupt me, I think this is exactly how I would spec it myself as well. Just because the tan really, I love the contrast between the black dashboard and the tan, well, everything else really, and the tan really gives it that little sense of occasion every time you get into the car, rather than a black leather is so boring and so conservative. And it's just, I personally am so sick and tired of black interiors that tan anything, unless it's cloth, of course, it feels a bit more special than a black interior, and I really like that in this car. And I think this is a very good spec, except where they did mess up. The trim of this car is pretty much 95% there as far as the 4-cylinder goes, because as I already said, there's the V6 and there's a 4-cylinder, right? So the V6 would be the absolute top trim. But for 4 cylinders, the 2.4, this is a 95% there, and that 5% where they did mess up majorly is they did not spec the navigation. So what you get is you get climate control, you get your radio, and you get this very basic screen that you cannot even connect your phone to listen to music. What you can do, you can connect your phone to the hands-free link. So basically you can speak with somebody on the phone hands-free, but you really cannot listen to your music by connecting your Bluetooth to the car. So in this case, the owner is forced to use one of these, which is an FM transmitter, which is how she gets around not having Bluetooth in her car to listen to her favorite tunes. Now in the back, the story of tan leather goodness and basic necessities and just basic comfort continues. We have, well, pretty much nothing back here, to be honest. We just have some vents here and, you know, for the AC, of course. In the climate control, we have a couple cup holders here. They are of different size, so there's a smaller one and the bigger one, which is pretty cool. You get your access to the trunk, but overall, nothing too special, nothing too much to talk about, but everything is very well done. You know, everything feels solid, the leather feels good. There's more than enough leg room for myself per se. I'm a 5'6" male, 5'6" male myself was sitting in the front as well in the driver's seat, so the seat is adjusted to me. So there's more, like there's like a half a foot of, more than half a foot, there's closer to a whole foot, and everything just feels, yeah, normal, very normal, for the lack of a better word. We have a lot of cup holders, so we have a lot of storage in this entire car. There's so much storage. We have 2 cup holders here, we have 2 in the front. We have 1 in each door. I would consider this a cup holder because it can fit either a Starbucks cup or a like any coffee drink, any water bottle can fit in here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cup holders if you can consider the door cup holders, which I would consider them cup holders. One area that Accord really shines in is the trunk capacity. Now, you'll see a bunch of junk here, naturally. It's a girl's car, so you'll see a lot of things that should probably not be here on a daily basis, plus my own equipment, plus a cat cage. But regardless of that, I can still go right ahead and climb right into this mess and fit reasonably comfortably in here for a sedan of this size. Okay, so how does the Accord actually drive? Here's a couple twisties. Okay, so Accord is actually surprisingly fun to drive for what the car is, right? For the comfortable family sedan. Thank God it doesn't drive like a Camry, because Camry, I've driven a Camry, and I've driven a couple Camrys in my lifetime actually, and they're not stimulating whatsoever, unless you go into the sport trims, etc., and some of the newer ones are actually very nice to drive. But this generation, it was a complete taxi car. It was just pure transportation, pure locomotion through the space, and not time, just the space. Same with the Corolla at the time. My brother had a Corolla, so I spent quite a bit of time in that car as well. And it was very basic transportation. You could tell that car was all about reliable transportation and nothing else, not an ounce of anything else. Whereas this, it is 95% basic transportation, but then the steering wheel is quite chunky. It's quite heavy. You could tell when you're driving an Accord, you could tell that these people that built this car also built an S2000 and all the Integras and the Civic Type Rs, right? You can tell that they still care about driving experience. It's not really anything too boring, right? Like it's comfortable and very civilized and very sedate when you want it to be. But if you're looking to chuck it into a corner, yeah, it's going to understeer. Yes, it's going to act like a sedan that is not meant for anything fun. But somehow it still brings me that type of enjoyment of driving a slow car fast. The steering wheel is surprisingly heavy for what the car is, really. It's not as heavy as my Miata, but it's much heavier than the Camrys. And it's decently direct. Let's get on an on-ramp right now. Chuck it into a corner. All the things are flying in the car. Let's go. Okay, and finally we're at the speed limit. It's nothing special as far as acceleration, and the engine is all about just basic workhorse, you know, getting you up to speed and just reliable service to their owner of this vehicle. But the steering, how heavy the steering wheel is, and just the thickness of the steering wheel, honestly makes it a lot of fun. If it's raining, and if even on regular tires, if you chuck it into a corner too fast, it's going to understeer. But then you lift off the throttle, and it will lift off oversteer. That has happened to me in this car. So again, my final thoughts on this car is, if you're looking for something that is comfortable enough, and let's be honest, you don't care as much about your car making loud noises and being the most exciting thing on the road. If you're just looking for a good, reliable car, comfy, it has everything you need except, well, Bluetooth, unfortunately, which is, I think that's the biggest drawback of this interior, realistically. If you're looking for just a good car, you can't go wrong with this car. It's a bit boring for somebody who is looking for some enthusiast level of driving experience, but for a regular person, this car is more than enough for everything. I guarantee you that. If you're looking for a family sedan and you have about 6 to 8 grand to spend on a car, you really can't go wrong with Honda Accord. And that's where I'm gonna leave you with this, guys, as well as you just can't go wrong with it. It does everything okay. It's a car. It drives, gets you from here to there, and it's comfortable, has heated seats, and yeah, it will take you anywhere that has a road and a gravel. And if you are at a back road, you just might have some fun with it accidentally. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you subscribing. Please, let's get this channel let's just get this channel going. Let's get that momentum going. The views have been fantastic. The views have been fantastic. Some of the videos have 10,000 views now in about 6 to 8 months, which is awesome. Like, it really warms my heart that you guys are watching it. It really is worth it, right? A lot of this is done extracurricularly, right? After work, after all the other commitments. And I know I promised you bi-weekly videos a while ago, but what I can tell you now is bi-weekly videos are happening, and it is coming. I will try to sustain it for as long as I can, but for the foreseeable future, for the foreseeable few months, bi-weekly videos are here, and they're here to stay. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at MockALove.photo. And yeah, if you're looking to give me a car to review, I probably won't say no. Just saying, I'm not saying you should, but if you choose to, I won't say no. If you're in the GTA area or even Southern Ontario area, just give me a shout, DM me on Instagram. Hey, love your channel or hate your channel, but I still want to see your car there anyways. So yeah, just connect with me there, and don't forget to comment as well. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Now under the hood, you will find a legendary K24Z3 engine. Got you, mother.